What's up, RC Tamiya addicts? Well, I have built the chassis for the CC02. So in this video, I'm going to give you a review of how that went for me. I'll give it a little test run around the flat, just so you can see it performing. And then I'll tell you about a great YouTube channel that really helped me out through this build. So stay tuned to see all that coming in this video. So then, the Defender 90 on the CC02 chassis. First of all, when I opened up the kit, I thought, wow, there's a lot of parts to this. Is it going to be too much? But I have built a few cars now, and the most challenging one I've built is the BBX. So I thought, if I can do that, I can do this. Anyway, this is your regular sort of Tamiya manual that you get. And one of the first things in the first couple of stages is you're going to have to decide which gear set you're going to go with, yeah, high or low speed. So I've gone with a low speed gear set. So for me, I was a little bit puzzled by this. What does it all mean? Which bit do you have to build? So there was a resource video that I jumped onto that I'll tell you about later in the video, which really helped me out with that. So first choice you've got to make is high or low gear. What are you going to use this thing for? Then assembling the gearbox was all relatively simple. As we move on, putting the motor in, fine, and then we start getting to this bit, yeah, which is this framework here along the chassis, this big bit here, and it asks you to put in all these little bolt heads, and it's also asking you to put this rubber cement in, which I don't have rubber cement, and what that is enabling you to do is put all, put all these bolts in, and it'll hold, the rubber cement will hold them in place while you're screwing all this together before the screws go into the actual bolts. So I used, if we go to my little tool tray, I just used Loctite glue. Yeah, I used it on my BBX when it asked me to use the rubber cement, and it seemed to do the job. I didn't have any ill effects, so I've actually just used glue on all the bits it's asked for the rubber cement, and it works. It's fine. It's done. Yeah. So relatively simple. Just make sure you've got it all positioned correctly when you're gluing these bits in place. Just make sure they're in the right position on the framework. You don't want to mess that up. So attached all that together. That was all good, going through these stages, putting the motor in, slotting it into its frame, fine. Then you're gonna have to build these things. So these are plastic, and you've got to bend them slightly to clip these little ball things in. Now there's a metal bit, some plastic bits sticking out of them, and I would advise you put the metal bits in first. Wedge it in, and then shove your thumb in, and then just lift that up slightly, and it will click in. You're not going to break the plastic if you're careful with it, so don't worry too much about that. Again, the videos that I was watching were a great help in doing that part, but a few people think that's a little bit tricky, but it'll be fine. You'll get through it, don't worry. So assemble it all in. I used Loctite on that, but it's going into plastic, so silly mistake, didn't need to do that. I sort of wiped it off and redid it, but it's fine when you do that screw there. Then a next decision you have to make really is when you come to do the differentials, whether you want them locked or open. So I've decided to lock both front and rear, because this is going to be a trail car, a sort of little crawler type vehicle. So having done some research, I decided to lock them both. Someone gave a really good explanation of when you lock them and when you keep them open. And for what I'm going to use it for, I've decided to lock them. So if you are going to have them locked, so you're going to use this diagram here, which is quite simple to put together. If you're having them open, then you've got to use a few more parts, and then you've got to use all the grease as well, which is, to be honest, they don't give you a lot of grease in these kits, do they, to do all this sort of stuff. So it's quite lucky that I didn't have to use the grease on this, because I was running out by this point. Then you move on to the axles. Now there is upgrade parts or aftermarket parts where you can get silver ones of these, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I will, because it make it look a little bit more realistic. If you are going to buy upgrades for this, I would suggest you get them before you build it, and then, you know, get them in place straight away, because I do not want to take all that apart to get them out just to replace them with silver ones again. Yeah, because you're going to put all that together, attach it all into there, and then bang, if you want silver ones, take it all back out again and do it all over again. Maybe you enjoy doing that, maybe you do, I don't. But yeah, I would get your upgrades in place straight away, yeah, because you've got to do a fair bit of work in installing all that, and then you're just going to have to take it all out again. So once all that was in, you're pretty much there. You've got to do it all again, obviously, front and rear, so you're going through the whole process again, replicated. And then the shocks, relatively simple shocks on these. We'll give you a demonstration of what the shocks look like. So, sorry, get that in camera. Let's lift it all up. Yeah, so quite good. Oil filled. You can upgrade them. A few people do. I get that. I'll probably keep it as is, to be honest. So putting all the shocks in, fine. And then it's all about the electrical gear. So if you are going to use on trails and there's going to be water and stuff, obviously you're going to want to keep your receiver nice and secure in the cover there. And it's asking you to stick these onto the side like so. Yeah, all good. And then that's pretty much it, really. Obviously put the front bumper and rear bumpers on and attach your wheels. So one thing I've noticed, if you just move that out of the way, is on this side. Look at the steering there. Get my finger in. It's really, really close to the tyre. Sometimes I'm sure I can hear it rubbing. If I can just put some light on that, you see it a bit better. There we go. Really, really close against the tyre, which I find a little bit odd, really. But it is what it is. And when we get it out, driving it properly, we'll see how it goes. But all in all, I think it was a really good build. Now, what's really going to help you, if you need some advice on this, is a great set of videos from Fast Freddy RC. He's been building a CC02, a Bronco, and he's done a video for every step of the build. So that's a great resource video if you want to jump on that and have a watch of him. I'm going to get this on the floor now, and we'll give it a little drive around quickly, just so you can see how it performs. Now, I've not got full power on this. I mean, it is quite fast for something you would consider as a crawler. Obviously, the CC02 is not meant to be a crawler. Let's give it some full whack. Yeah, so you got a little bit of power there when you need it. This is the low speed gear set with a 540 motor in there, so you can obviously change all that. Let's get an obstacle out for it and see how that performs. Let's try it on a bag. A little bit of a struggle. There we go, made it eventually. My crawling skills aren't great yet. There we go. Well, the next thing to do is the body. That's to come now, and I've already started putting the required holes in it. This thing does take a few holes for all its little bits that go onto it. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to start trimming it out. And then there's a lot of masking that needs to be done as well. And I've also got to go through the website to look for some aftermarket parts, you know, roof rack and bars and stuff like that, because I really want to go to town on this thing, make it look really good. Anyway, I hope you found some sort of interest in this. I'd love it if you gave a like and a subscribe. It don't cost you anything, and it means the world to me. If you've made it this far, well, hopefully I'll see you again on the next one. See you later.